Yeah, hi friends. No problem. Thank you. So we dove into El, I think on the Sadi Yoser Tov, Avodas Hashem, and um, we started El and said we're gonna try to be Doma to Kadosh Baruch Hu. I think that's part of Dodili. My beloved is to me. Someone you love, you try to act like. Someone just said to me that a certain person who's like too into a certain gadol, he said he moves his hand the same way the gadol does, right? That's what you do when you get the impressions, you get the expressions. They say a married couple after a year starts to look alike and think alike and act alike. So Kaviyachol, that's how it is with the Eibishter, our Father in heaven. For sure, we want to act like him, Dodi Lee. And 1 second. and and there's no better way to be act like him than going through the Tomer Devorah. So it's a little bit random because we're doing this in 4 or 5 weeks, and I did want to touch on that. And I'm curious if people find this sometimes, like the siyata dishmaya, that when you're working on a certain thing, the Rebbeim Shalom sends that to you. Because I know I was involved in a big, very, very big, unusually big, unfortunately, mess up last week. A Talmud that is Lo Aleinu struggling with Amuna issues, and as opposed to just seeing it something that I had to deal with, I tried to look at it from the Tomer Devorah perspective as overall pesha, just like the Rebbeinu Hashem cleans up our messes, and we told everybody to think about it for 2 minutes a day, how Hashem cleans up all the messes in the world. So we should clean up the messes. So I hope other people find that also sometimes. To me, it was siyata dishmaya that, like, right then, it had come to me beforehand, but I really had to deal with it and think about and spend a lot of time conversing. We're still in the middle. We're not done, but it's something that everybody should be thinking about. Okay, that was it. That was a very important avoda. I want to focus now on something that I found bismano to be life changing. I don't use that word. I don't use that word a lot in the Vaad. This is one of those ideas that I did find as such. I just want to quickly review the Midah. Okay, the eighth Midah. We might go back to the seventh. This might take us 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see what we do with this. But is Yichbosh Avonosenu? The Pasuk Micha says the Kadosh Baruch Hu is Kobesh the Avonos. He pushes down the Avonos. What does that mean? Kvisha Savan. What is Kvishat Adam? To push down, to conquer, push down. A Machbesh is somewhere you push down. Kia mitzvah porachas alosa nitza. Mitzvahs go up. Ubokeya adein tachlis. Every mitzvah goes up. Adein tachlis lichnos lefanav yisbarach to go in front of Hashem. Amnam avonis ein lem knisa Hashem chas v'shalom, but the avonis don't get there. El kovsham shalikan. So Kadosh Baruch Hu pushes them down that they don't get in. Lo yigur chara. Lo yagur b'mgur chara. This is so chashuv. Those who are familiar with Nefesh Chaim, I think he uses these words when it comes to tefillah and Torah, if I remember correctly. But the words of tefillah go up. Talking about omdim rumishalom, think words that stand rumishalom. The words of Torah go up. We don't think of it that way. I'm just doing a mitzvah. I'm just learning. No, 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 no. The Torah goes up and the tefillah goes up, and every mitzvah goes up. And the specific point is that this is really touching on a deep hashkafic point. Schar mitzvah b'hayal maleka. Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't reward schar in this world. Why? Because he doesn't want to affect the beautiful mitzvah that you did. Let's say, and he speaks it out. Let's say a person did 40 mitzvahs and lo aleinu 10 averos. So he says, okay, good. Well, I don't need 40 mitzvahs. 30 is plenty. I certainly don't need 10 averos. So take off, do 10 keneged 10. And listen carefully, this is serious business. Making such a cheshbon would give you a easier olam hazeh, because you wouldn't have to deal with your averis. Not in this world, not in the next world. It would just be like keneged, right? It's like when people owe money, you owe me this and I owe you that. Okay, now this cheshbon is done. You owed me $20, I owe you $20 done. So you have a mitzvah, you have an avera, and you have a lot more mitzvahs. So let HaKadosh Baruch Hu make a nice deal for us and do the Averis Keneged the mitzvahs, 10 Keneged 10, and I'm left with 30 mitzvahs. No. Bad deal. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do it because it's a bad deal. Who's a bad deal? For you. Listen carefully, because it's better out of his love for you. Kadosh Baruch Hu makes us suffer and get punished for those 10 Averis in order that afterwards you're left with 40 mitzvahs. Because the mitzvah is infinitely greater than this worldly stuff. Now, when you're suffering and you're hurting and you have a broken leg or whatever other Chalel lo aleinu yisurim you have, it doesn't feel that way, but that's the cheshbon. So out of a Kadosh Baruch Hu's love for us, he keeps it separate. So what happens? You have the 10 Averis. This is mamash the Gemara in Kedushin at the end of the first parak. Anybody who learned that long parak, one of the longest parakim in Kshas, certainly one of the longest parakim in Nashim Nezikin, but anybody who got through that parak knows that at the end it goes through this cheshbon. He doesn't explain it. It's not explained with all the clarity of the Tomer Devorah, but the 10 Averis have to be dealt with, and it could be yichi and painful, but afterwards you have all the mitzvahs sitting there, and out of Kadosh Baruch Hu's love for us and understanding of what the depth of what a mitzvah is, he doesn't let the Averis touch the mitzvahs. Incredible, and of course, so too when we see others. Someone did bad to us, but did good to us. This is right. So as opposed to what happens to us often is we focus on the bad more, and the good is okay. He's done a lot for me, but he did this. No. The opposite. You have to see the good that someone's done for you and be mavatal the ra. And by doing that, we're acting like the Rebbeinu Shalom. So this is a super important point in hashkafa, and I'll explain it a little bit more in using practicality. of what this means and why I felt it is in fact a life-changing idea. I think that even when we think about someone positively, if you analyze yourself and the way we speak and the videos we listen to and the podcasts and the shiurim we listen to, this person has really good middos, he has a lot of knowledge, he's developed himself, etc. We don't D-O-N, we don't see people through their mitzvahs. We don't say, oh my God, he davened in a minyan. Do you know the power of what it is to daven with a minyan? He heard shofar. He did a chesed. He learned Torah. It is unbelievable. He is lit up by that. That mitzvah, he's now acquired eternity. Okay, he did a Averis also. He spoke Lashon Hara. Fine. That's a blemish. And that's a temporary blemish. It's his etz himself is the mitzvahs that are going to light him up forever. There's a reason we don't see it like that. And it's a training. And I don't naturally see it like that also. Again, even when I want to emphasize, we're far away from this because often we just see people in a negative way, right? They're negative. They spoke Lashon Hara. They're a little bit rude. They're a little impolite. They hurt my feelings. They don't go to davening, whatever it is, whichever ways we're critical, and each person is critical in different ways. Okay, now, so we work on ourselves to be less critical. Let's see people in their positive things. Let's see people in their good midas. He has such a good midah, such a loving midah. Fine. This is something else, not the good midah. The mitzvah that he's acquired will light him up forever. He's cornered a part of eternity. He's going to live forever because of this mitzvah. It will always be there. No matter what Averis he has, the mitzvah is there and will shine. It's like if you saw a beautiful person, a very beautiful person, and they have a cup, but all the features, their eyes are perfect, blue eyes and a perfect nose, and everything's just in place. And you focus on the scar, which is not going to be there. And a week later, the scar won't be there. The beautiful face will be there. So an intelligent person tries to see past the scar because they realize the scar is temporal. The scar is ephemeral. The scar is short-lived. It's what we call in halacha mum over. But the beautiful face is going on forever. That's what a mitzvah is. That's why I say it's a life-changing way of looking at it. That it's a totally different way of relating to people, right? Of course, the Tomer Devorah applies it mitzad just the cheshbon. Don't do that negative cheshbon when you look at someone. Oh, he did bad to me. He did good to me. Focus on the good he did for you. But I want to take it even more basic, just in terms of the hashkafa. We have to get our head around seeing people through their mitzvahs. He's a mitzvah machine. Do you see someone in Kiruv? Do you understand what you're looking at? Do you understand what it is? Someone who stands and tries to convince college kids to sit down and learn with them? Someone sitting on a campus? The mitzvah there, trying to bring someone tachas. You see a Talmud Chacham? someone teaching Torah, the Mila, a woman, a mother who's sitting with bratty kids and not yelling at them, a person making parnasa, whatever. Once it gets into the category of a mitzvah, it's huge. I mean, it's a little bit too huge, right? It's hard to, it's so big, it's hard to relate to. But that's the point. I think that's what I'm saying. It's a new idea. The Talmud Torah is saying the Yichbosh Avodas, the mitzvahs also, and the Klal Yisrael that's doing mitzvahs, or the Bali mitzvahs, or something otherworldly, incredible, beyond past almost anything we can remember. Like, whoa, Hayitachin, he did a mitzvah. Your children, they've done mitzvahs. Bar mitzvah, put on tefillin. So again, it's a little bit too much. When it's too much, it's hard to deal with. I recognize it's hard to get. It's hard to get out. He keeps Shabbos. He's Moshe Nefesh. A zillion things. They're all super, super, super huge. Okay, so that's the idea. So, and friends, this is the way of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Ribono Shalom is the one who set up the system, and he sees us through the mitzvahs. He gives a big nechama. We don't see the mitzvahs lighting ourselves up. We don't appreciate in ourselves and others, but the Ribono Shalom does, and he knows what mitzvah you did. Really, after every mitzvah, we should push it dance. Noah Weinberg used to say, "You guys want me to pay you? Like, you should dance at the opportunity you have to teach Torah and yeshiva." But Noah said that to Rabbeim about teaching, but we should dance after a shahakol. We should dance after an ashayasar. We should dance after a chesed. I just bought eternity. It can never be taken away from me. This chesed will never be taken away. Whatever other things that one does, which have to be dealt with, but the mitzvah stands. Yichvosh Avasenos, Chametz Al Malika, the mitzvah will always be there. I think it's big stuff. Yaron. So I want to make some kabbalas about it, because Hagufa, again, my principle for this Elul from Rav Nosson Bachfog is you have to sweat an Elul. We got to make efforts, and it's a hard idea to get our head around, but I think we get our head around it in order to act like the Ribono Shalom. So I want here I have a little with a twist this time. I want to look at three people and look at the mitzvahs they're doing. See them doing a mitzvah and look at them for like 20, 30 seconds, like focus. I mean, you have to not do it oddly, but focus and say, like, this thing that he's doing will light him up forever. He is now the chesed, the tefillah, the bracha. It will light him up forever. 3 times a day. Like, what am I trying to do? This hashkap is out there. It's a far away from us. We have a unique opportunity now that we're revisiting these ideas of the Talmud Devorah. Winter will come. We'll probably go somewhere else. You have to latch onto it. I'm talking to myself in order to ingrain. How does hashkafa become a hashkafa? An outlook. How does it become an outlook? You have to train your brain to think that way. Like what we quoted before from Tzvi Meyer is a hiluch machshava, a way of thinking. So I want to try to make this a way of thinking. We have a week now, maybe we'll have 2 weeks, but let's make it a way of thinking. How can we 3 times a day, take someone 20 seconds altogether, it's a minute and a half, a minute to a minute and a half. So it's not a lot of time. But take someone, look at them. Maybe it could be your wife. My wife is now dealing with my child. She's doing a mitzvah right now. Oh, it's so nice, so motherly. It's a motherly love, just like a Goya. No, not motherly love like a Goya. Goyim are great. God bless them. Not like an animal being nice to her young. L'havdil elef havdalos. There, I didn't all mean that, but it came out wrong, right? But she's doing a mitzvah. She's doing chesed. This will stay with her forever. What was your question, Aaron?
Can we just articulate how is this different than a sort of regular, more generic, look how halig a yid is perspective?
I'm happy you
And
asked
what does
that.
this have to do with mahu afata? Like what's
Good.
that element of
Right.
it?
So halig, very good. Okay, so halig could mean the neshama, like the song, neshamas of yidden. I like the fact they said neshamas of yidden, right? The neshama, when we say halig yid, I think I'm happy, very happy I asked that. Because when we say halig yid, I think we mean he has a holy neshama. Generally, I think that's the stam das. The yid, and it's true. The yid has a halig neshama, definitely, right? And despite the fact that blah blah blah. No, here it's something else. He is halig because he's lit up by mitzvahs. It's not a stira. It's a complementary machshav, but it is different. I think Rove Rubam people, you ask them, what do you mean? They'll use the word, just like the song, Neshamas of Yidden, I'm one of the Yidden. He didn't say, I did so many mitzvahs of Yidden. Here the song will be, the song will be mitzvahs of Yidden. It's the mitzvah. Now, maybe it's because we have a Haley Neshama, but that's already out of but it's the Neshama. And now, what does this have to do with Mahal Racham? This is a Hechsher mitzvah for Mahal Racham, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu, here's the point. Eventually, maybe that's what we'll do next week, is to take this idea and realize when they've done nice things to me, they're big things. Maybe the part of the reason that we can't be mavatal people's small averis to us is because we don't appreciate how big it is. You could apply the meter without that, right? Being honest, the way the Talmud Devorah says it is okay. So too, when someone does something bad to you, just like Kadosh Baruch Hu has, but here it's a little bit more of an exact formulation. It's that I eventually could see the things that a person did for me. It's not just some game. Kadosh Baruch Hu does it like this, so I also have to do it like that. Here it's like, whoa, he did big stuff to me. He did a mitzvah to me. He did something eternal to me. Not necessarily that it's not eternal to me, but X person has done something nice to me, and the nice thing he's done to me is itself an eternal thing. He did something very, very big. It happened to me. I was a recipient of it. That would be where. But you're right. The Mahu is going to be the further application of the idea, right? But at this point, it's a step towards. Okay, so that's 3 people a day, 20 to 30 seconds. I really think it makes a difference to do it 20 to 30 seconds, because you do it for a second, you turn away, like to really focus. Look at my wife taking care of this baby, feeding the kids. Look at my fellow Rebbe teaching. Look at look at the Rav davening. Look at somebody davening. Look at the Shliach Tzibur. Whoa, 3 times a day, not a big deal. 20 to 30 seconds, but to focus, and then look at a makom where it's not obvious, right? I can say, look at a shul. I wrote that a shul or a yeshiva is a nitzchias creator center, right? But I want to think maybe not to look at a shul or a yeshiva where it's obvious, but look at someplace else. Maybe it's at a workplace. Can we find in our life other places and see them as being such places that they're creating mitzvahs, maybe a chesed organization. If you can't think of anything besides the shul or yeshiva, it's also good. But to relate to that, in other words, I'm trying to be megadol the hashkafa now. So one is klapi a place, like one is klapi to the person. The person is being a kohen nitzchias now. He's acquiring eternity. Whoa. Another is a place. We see the whole world on a very, very low level. Okay, he does a mitzvah, he doesn't do a mitzvah. In the stadiums they play, and we go to shul. No, it's not. Nothing against stadiums, but it's not. So try to look at a place, a shul or a yeshiva. Coach can have. That's what I thought at first, something more subtle, but I'm not sure everybody can find something subtle. But to think about that, to think about the shul you're going to, it's not just a place where we get together. It's not a place just where we daven. It's not a place. It's a creator of nitzchias. We have to get this machshava into ourselves. Okay, so that's what I thought. Maybe we'll like Aaron's saying, we'll try to apply it more into the Mahu world. But the first step, I think, my goal always is to, or my I don't know, my goal, my tafkid, my job is to try to bring ideas closer to us. So the Talmud Devorah just takes it, boom, do it. I think this is a necessary step for us to getting more around our heads to apply to us. I think when we appreciate how big good is and how huge it is, it'll be easier. Something will be easier for us to apply and speak to us more, and there'll be easier to apply. Okay, so let's try it over the week. 3 people a day for 20 to 30 seconds, and look at a makam as a nitzchus factor in eternity, we should be zochet to get the good machshavas and the good ashkavas for ourselves over this time. Hatzlacha Rabbah. See everybody next week. Thank you very much.